Hello, everybody. It's me. And I'm back with another Tarot Tuesday, Tarot Reviews Day, and a new deck from my enormous collection. So let's take a look at what I have for you this week. I'm back home. Yay. Whew, this deck is a monster. All right. We have the Oracle of Delphi. This is an absolutely gorgeous deck. This is by Susie Cherub with artwork by Brierly Collins. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful deck. It will just be very clear about the fact that I don't heart the packaging a lot because it's a box that's bigger than the deck. And I know that that means it can hold a much larger guidebook, which is great, especially for people who, need larger text, right? Which is definitely a thing. But this is actually, it's a really beautiful one, and there's holographic lettering on it, which, I love those bells and whistles. So there's holographic lettering on the book, which is really nice, and the book is in color, which is also really, really another nice touch. But I would personally prefer a box that fits the deck. Having that gap, it's just really it's unsatisfying for me. And because it's so big, I never travel with this deck. But it's a great deck. It's a beautiful deck. As you'll see, we have a pretty little Greek key pattern happening here, and really, really lovely. So this is another one of those decks where we have a lot of really cool digital art where we're putting together figures and symbols, and they're trying to make something really beautiful and otherworldly. So the Oracle of Delphi is, she was the head priestess of the temple to Apollo on Mount Parnassus. And so there's a lot of lions in this deck because lions are a symbol of the sun, which is a symbol of Apollo. And the Pythia, the head priestess, right, the oracle that people would go see, was somebody who would go into trance by inhaling some fumes, and they'd go into this dreamlike trance. And they usually wore some sapphires, so I'm wearing my lapis necklace today. And they would channel. And the thing about the Oracle of Delphi is that she would just channel, and that was her job. Interpretation was up to you. Yeah, there was some priests or wise men or whatever around there, and you could pay them to help you along with some interpretation. But the interpretation is really up to you, right? So if you go to her and you're like, hey, should I go to war? And she's like, oh, I see, the oppressor dying in battle. Well, that person might not understand that they're the oppressor, right? And so it's all about them and the energy that they're bringing, and she channels it and you interpret it, right? So pretty neat. It would be really neat these days if priests and priestesses and people who were had these abilities, if they were cared for by their communities the way that they used to be. They could live in community, they're cared for by the community, people pay them to do what they're doing, people give them gifts. That would be super duper, right? If I could just live in a temple and do my thing, and people just brought me food and made sure that my house was nice and in good repair. Wouldn't that be neat? It would just be cool, I guess, if we all took care of each other. I'm getting on a really weird tangent. So the intentionality of this deck, it's a deck that is really geared for light working, even though there are a few shadow cards in here. And it's really geared toward ascension and ascensionism. So the words "know thyself" are written on the deck and the back of the booklet, right? So back of the booklet and right on the front of the deck. These words, know thyself, were written on the entryway into that temple to Apollo, right? So when you were going to see the Oracle of Delphi, you would walk under this arch that would say know thyself on it, especially since interpretation is up to you, right? It's just like the Oracle just kind of does what she does, right? And so this is a deck that's really geared toward that. It's a deck that is geared toward self-exploration. So if you're connecting with this artwork, especially like there's a lot of like temple ruins and archways, but there's also a lot of like caves and mountains, and like here we have like a thunderstorm, moons. We saw some alchemical symbols earlier, this kind of thing, right? So if you're really connecting with the imagery, because this is a very imagery heavy deck, this is a great deck to use for knowing yourself, right? A daily pull, altar cards. I don't know if I've ever used this deck in a reading with a person before, because usually when people want that kind of energy, I'm just like, I also channel, and I do trance channeling. So I just embody an oracle. So I don't think I've actually used this deck in a public reading before, but it's a great deck for personal work. I'm sure you can use it in a public reading. It's just never really called to me for that specific purpose before. So gorgeous. Let's have a little shuffle-roo and see what our message is for today for the collective. Another thing about this deck is that she is tall but thin. And while I like the elegance of that sort of elongated rectangle, this is very difficult for me to hold. It's just right at my fingers kind of stretch to. So it's a little uncomfortable. If you're a side shuffler and you have smaller hands, this might be a little uncomfortable. All right, choo-choo-choo. What does the collective need today? What does the collective need to know today? For our highest good. This one sort of left a little bit, and there's two of them here. All right, so let's see. Our first one is healer, cleanse, grieve, grow, heal. Beautiful. And our second one, has a beautiful pink rose on it, the Rose of Sophia. Empath, feel, relate, understand, console. This is really interesting. So two really, really gorgeous cards. We have some beautiful mirroring crystals, a moon, reflectivity, some rainbow action. So really, really, really pretty card. So we have some earth imagery here. We have crystals and we have our rose. But we also have some really interesting imagery in terms of growth. Crystals grow in a really beautiful, very organized way. Very like it's repeating patterns, right? And we also have spirals here with our rose, and some spirals here with the top of our little Corinthian columns. I'm pretty sure that's Corinthian columns. But what I'm getting from this, right? We have a message to heal and feel, basically. When we're growing, right? When we are in those periods of expansion and growth, it can be very, very tempting to look around and think that we're seeing the same thing over and over, right? Like it's a cycle, it's a loop. And I feel like, God, this message has been coming in really hot for somebody. I recently found myself in a situation where I was doing something exactly the same, or at least I thought it was exactly the same. that I was in a specific place, kind of not feeling myself, kind of not having like a baller budget, and thinking to myself, God, I feel like in 20 years, nothing has changed. Like in 20 years, nothing has changed. But so much has changed about me, especially those of you who've known me for 20 years, right? I have grown and expanded, and like a rose, right? I'm spiraling out. And so while I'm in the same situation, I am in the same place. And yes, like I don't exactly have a baller income, not income, but like a baller budget for this trip, right? Everything had been taken care of because of my beautiful friends. I have gorgeous friends, and everything got taken care of. I didn't have to worry about anything. And it was a lot about me learning to accept all of the different venues that wealth comes to us and getting to really look at it instead of feeling bad about myself and saying, oh, it's the same thing again. No. How are the ways that the situation is different? Heal and feel, right? So what you're being asked to do right now, right, is, and it's like, I'm getting the words like a crystal, but I don't know what it's going. Like, I have no idea where this is going. Heal and feel. So like a crystal, right? There are so many, like, okay, I don't know where this is going. I don't know why I'm feeling this way, but they want me to say like a crystal. So maybe somebody understands this, but a crystal comes from the earth, and a crystal is precise. A crystal has very, very precise timing. So maybe this is like a crystal. Trust your vibration, trust your timing, trust that everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be right now, right? And while you're healing, allow yourself to feel it. So allow yourself to feel, if you're seeing yourself and you feel like, I feel like nothing's happened, I feel like I'm in the same place, right? How is it acting like a mirror for you, right? And also when a crystal is cut, it has a lot of different facets. There's a lot of ways that you can choose to look at it. So I have this beautiful crystal here, right? And the way that it's cut, there's many facets, and we can study each of these. But if you only look at it one direction, you're not seeing the whole picture. That's a completely different crystal on the other side, right? So I feel like, and so if I turn this into a spiral, right? God, I feel like this is some weird, some weird stuff. I'm going down a weird path today, but I'm not going to judge it. Let's just go for it, right? Just allow yourself to take this time to reflect. And I'll tell you why we're getting this kind of heal and feel message. Is we're currently, for those of you who care about astrology, we're in an eclipse portal, right? We had an eclipse in Leo last week or the week before, it was like last week. And then this week we have another eclipse in Virgo, right? And so when I say eclipse portal, I mean that like we're entering one and exiting out another, right? So like we have this space of time in between the two. And during an eclipse, I know you feel like you should be working some kind of magic. Try to resist that urge, right? The sun's energy is being blocked by the moon. And this is the kind of thing where indigenous cultures, there's actually not ritual that goes along with this. There is often, it's a time for reflection. It's a time where people would stay inside, right? And so during this week, right? And maybe if you've been feeling down and your energy's been super low and you're like, why is my energy low? That's what's happening astrologically, is that we have these two eclipses, one right after the other. The first one is in Leo, which has a lot to do, again, with the sun and Apollo, right? Which is, and that's that it's ruled by the sun, and it's the lion. So it's like, it's your personality, it's your roar. It's something that you might have been asked to look at and investigate over the last week. And this week we're in Virgo. This is when we're organizing things and we're aligning things and we're putting things together. So during an eclipse, this is an optimal time for us to rest and reflect, heal and feel, right? What is a divine mirror for you right now? How might you change your perspective And how might you look at yourself as expanding out and growing in a spiral rather than just walking the same hamster wheel over and over? Because that's not what's happening. There's so much that's different. There's so much that's different, right? Look at the person that you are now. Look at how much you've grown. Take stock. Heal and feel, right? This is where we're at right now. Let the eclipse work its own magic. Let it work its own portal, especially if you're like me, my rising is in Leo. Oh my God, and I'm wearing cat ears today. My rising is in Leo, right? So whatever zodiac system you like, right? Where are your Leo placements? Where are your Virgo placements? Because some of these issues might have come up in the last couple of weeks. Heal and feel. Really investigate, and really allow yourself to be surprised and look at things from as many angles as you can, right? All right, I'm feeling super, super complete. I love you all. Thank you for watching. I have a couple of watchers today, yay! And for those of you who will be engaging with the video later, all of my best and greatest love. If you are needing any corners polished off from this reading, please find me here or on Instagram. Send me a DM. I'd be happy to book a reading with you. Thank you so much. Much love. Love, love, love. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.